Hi everyone. So for this assignment, I have chosen to talk about the Zulu people. And the Zulu people are descendants of Guni-speaking people. They have a belief in God, and they are located at KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. And the languages spoken are Zulu and English. So the Zulu traditions and ways that they go about death stem and are heavily influenced by Christianity, which is interesting. And so they do believe that there is one God, one who is the creator, and this influences certain traditions that they have set in place and the way that they go about burying the dead. Zulu people often refer to themselves as the people of the heavens, and they are the largest ethnic group of South Africa, which has about 10 million Zulu residents in KwaZulu-Natal. So I'm going to discuss some things about the way Zulu people perceive death and loss and how they go about honoring the dead and how they go about burying people and stemming from traditions. So, Zulu people believe that burying loved ones in a grave is respectful and is a way to reunite them with their ancestors. They also believe that death is not the end and that one day people will be reunited with their ancestors. They also view it as a way of a closure for loved ones who are going through the loss. They also believe in burning the belongings of people who have died because evil spirits could have remained in those belongings, and so they decide to burn those belongings. They also believe in celebrating a person's life after they die, so they believe in celebration of life at the funeral for a deceased person. And they also, some of the traditions that they follow when going about this, they have a death dance at the funeral to commemorate the dead person, so they perform a dance. Incense is also burned to communicate with the ancestors, and they believe that the deceased work with God once they pass. Another tradition that the Zulu people have is when they unveil a tombstone, they use a tradition called bringing the deceased home. And this is usually done like a year or two after the person has died. And the tradition involves just talking to the deceased and informing them about what they're going to do, and also discussing like their life struggles with the deceased. So just kind of talking about what they're going through so they can inform their loved one or the person who died of that, to keep them kind of updated on their life. In the day before this, a cow is slaughtered and then more incense is burned. The Zulu people also view death as a person's deep connection growing with all of creation. I believe that if a burial of a deceased person is not done in the traditional way, that they can be a wandering or lost spirit that doesn't have much substance or tradition in the way that they were buried. Interesting fact is that the chief of a Zulu tribe is usually buried in a position where he's sitting down in his cattle kraal, and he's sewn into the skin of a black bull that was killed that same day. Another tradition that the Zulu people have is called Eladi, and this is for remembering the deceased. So they really, really value remembering those who have passed away. And this also involves slaughtering an animal, usually associated with death. The animal is a cow, a goat, or a chicken. They also ask for forgiveness with this tradition, and they make the dead person's like favorite foods along with a special Zulu beer that is associated with their culture. The Zulu people also highly associate old people with a sense of sacredness. They really value old people who are about to pass, and they believe that they are sacred and special, and that they are to be remembered in a very reverent way. So, a specific story that the Zulu people believe in correspondence to death. And the story is that long ago people did not die, but other people weren't aware of this. So a chameleon was sent as a messenger from the creator to inform people. And the chameleon got hungry and ate some berries. The creator then found this out and was upset with the chameleon. And so the creator decided to send a second messenger, which happened to be a lizard, and the lizard was really fast and ended up delivering the message on time. And then the chameleon finally arrived at the village much later, and everyone told the chameleon that he was too late and his trip was kind of a waste of time. So, a few more background things about the Zulu culture. They are best known African people, and their history can be traced all the way back to the 14th century. And in the early 19th century, a certain Zulu prince, his name was Shaka, came into the culture, and he built up a very powerful Zulu kingdom. But British troops ended up invading the Zulu territory, and that divided all of the Zulu territory into 13 different chiefdoms. But then the Zulu never regained their independence. So they were continuously taken over by other governments. Also, as I've mentioned a little bit in this video already, ancestral spirits are extremely important in the Zulu culture, but more specifically in the religious life of Zulu people. So, as I mentioned, there are certain offerings or sacrifices that are made surrounding death and ancestral spirits. Zulu culture believes in magic, anything beyond comprehension, such as bad luck, illness, anything like that is to be sent by like an angry spirit. And when this happens, then a diviner, so as I talked about before, that healer, to communicate with ancestors, and they use herbs or prayers to get rid of whatever problems may be at hand. So to the Zulu people, it is the spirit that's more important than the body. So they truly care about where the spirit is ending up, rather than where an earthly body is ending up. I also believe that expressing your individuality ensures growth within who you are. So Zulu traditions over time have slightly changed, but the changes may just waver from family to family or different parts of regions, depending on where people are from. But most aspects of the Zulu traditions haven't changed. Those traditions are still sacred and valued and set in place, so most people still use them. I thought that all of this information about the Zulu tribe was extremely, extremely interesting. I really enjoyed learning about it, and I think that it's so cool to recognize that certain tribes and cultures still have traditions and ways of life that may be unfamiliar to us here in America, but they're still present in today's culture, in our society. And I think that it's important for us to learn about them so that we can be familiar with them. And I think that us learning about them creates more respect for the way that they deal with things. And I really enjoyed researching all of this information about the Zulu culture and the way people in the Zulu tribes go about dealing with death. I hope you guys learned a lot, and thank you so much for watching.